What the f? Wanted to give you guys a quick look at my new shop space. Now, I'm not sure how long I'll keep this space, but I got it at a screaming deal. I actually know the owner of the property from the auction, somebody who I compete with very often. I didn't even realize it was his property until I called about it, but I'm paying $350 a month for this space, which is just shy of 1,000 square feet. Now you can see with some finagling, you can fit quite a few vehicles in here. I could fit one more if I want to. It'd have to be one that's a little bit shorter, maybe something the size of the Dynasty over there, but right now I've opted not to, as I've been taking things in and out of here. You can see I've got my workbench set up with all the things you'd want to have around your shop. I've got oil, I've got ramps, tools, detailing supplies. So the vehicles I have in here right now, I've specifically chosen to put in here because these vehicles all need a bit of work and they're not quite ready for my move yet to Florida. Now I could take them down, all these will drive onto a truck, no problem, but since I have limited space down there right now, and it's much less expensive for me to rent space up here, I figured better off keeping them up here. This is an old barn, I'm sure you can tell. There's definitely some signs of age. A lot of the wood ceiling is starting to come down, and there's some cracks in the CBS over here, but overall the building's very sound. I went around after I leased the unit and filled in any major cracks, and I've got mothballs all over the building to deter any mice. I also have rat poison scattered about, and I've got dryer sheets inside the vehicles. A bit overkill, but I don't want to be worrying about mice and rats getting in here when I'm down in Florida. The 89 Trofeo needs rear brakes, pads and rotors, and it's got a manifold leak. Not major stuff, but I've had other cars that are a higher priority to fix than this vehicle, so I'll get around to it. It also needs new tires. They're very old and dry rotted. The 88 Trofeo has got that same issue it's had for a long time, where it shuts off after 20 minutes once the car warms up. I've already replaced the cam magnet position sensor. I've already replaced the ignition control module, plugs, wires, you name it. Maybe it's an overheating fuel pump. Maybe it's a crankshaft sensor. To be honest, I may have even replaced the crankshaft sensor already. I don't remember. I've owned this car for a while now. But again, not a priority right now. It's in here, it's safe, it's out of the weather. I'll get around to it in the future, although I've been saying that for a while, and you can tell with the layer of dust on that hood. Unfortunately, the 93 Taurus, which when I bought it seemed like it was going to be a great vehicle for years to come with no issues whatsoever, has one major flaw from the factory, and that's the transmission design. And sure enough, as all these early Tauruses do, the forward piston, I don't even remember, to be honest, because this happened a few months ago and I parked it ever since, but there's some forward piston in the transmission that failed. And because of that, once the transmission gets warm, it cannot build up the pressure to get this car to go forward. You have to put it in reverse and slam it in a drive for the car to go. So the only fix for that, unfortunately, is a transmission overhaul. I will do it because this vehicle is in great shape otherwise. It was very well maintained, one owner, little old lady car. It's immaculate. So I'm not rushing on this. The car is in here. It's safe and sound out of the weather. The Dynasty back there, the only thing it really needs is an alignment and some exhaust work. The tires are very dry rotted on that too. That car I'll probably get around to pretty soon. I'd like to get that down to Florida since it needs so little work. The 93 Century, that car used to run and drive great. Recently it's been having some issues, running a bit rough. May just be the fuel filter again with some more sediment at the bottom of the tank. Remember, that car sat for many years before I bought it, so minor issue with that car. Another vehicle I'd like to get fixed soon and get it down to Florida, but not an immediate priority. The wagon way back there, unfortunately, has been running very poorly, and very recently it just started pissing oil all over the place. So I'm not quite sure what's going on with that one. I'm thinking if the engine needs too much work, I'll use that parts car I have and swap in the L67 supercharged V6 from the parts car into this wagon. And last but not least, we got the Metro on the back wall there. You can just barely see it. As you guys may remember, the last video I did of the Metro, George and I were tooling around with the engine. We put a new head on it, and unfortunately it had some bottom end noise, so kind of just left it that. I haven't ran it since. I didn't want to do any more damage. Some were saying it may just be a timing issue. Another vehicle I'd like to get around to in the near future, even if it means putting a whole new engine in it, because that'll be a fun car to have down in Florida with the drop top and the 5-speed. We've got my rusty but trusty GMC Sierra out here, which I've been using to run things up and down from the shop. But that's pretty much it. These vehicles, again, not coming to Florida right away. Some of these vehicles I may even leave up here indefinitely, because I'll still be coming up here quite a bit. The good thing is that they're out of the weather. They're definitely mouse-proof at this point. I'd say even more mouse-proof than they were at my house that I just sold recently. Even in those garages, you still have mice slipping in throughout the winter. And of course, being a big GM guy, I put up this Series 2 3800 engine cover. So that's it for the shop for now. I'm sure you'll see some more footage in here in the future. Me bringing cars from the auction, bringing cars from Florida, or bringing these cars out of here. I've spent enough time in here for today. The mothball odor is getting to me. Thanks for watching, guys. Keep an eye out for the next one.